What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio in Matawan, New Jersey. Sturch Gooch are in the house. Dina Simpson's in the house producing this bad boy of a show. I hope you guys are doing well out there. I hope you guys are you slept good, and I hope your days are off to a good start. And if this is your lunch break that you're taking at 11 o'clock, we hope to be entertaining for you. First and foremost, like the video. Do us that solid. That would be great. Now, I have to point this out to a couple of the Facebook users out there, my dad being one of them. Dad, go into the YouTube and like the video on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. He keeps liking my posts on Facebook, and I think that he's like, oh, I did it already. So do that for me. Appreciate it. Everybody who's watching this, please like the video. Thank you so much for that. And, of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel, do that too, because we're putting out content all off season long as we're going to dive into the NFL today. But first, quick order of business. Obviously, patreon.com if you want to support Chop Sports in a monetary way. $3, $5, $10, you name it. We have the option for you. We're going to be adding things, especially coming up in March. We're going to have a watch party for the next UFC fight. Who shows up, that's up to you, but you got to be a Patreon member, a $10 Patreon member. That's the Dynasty member to join that. So that's part of the perks. So you don't have to pay for the pay-per-view at home. You don't have to legally stream it. You can just come here, enjoy it, drink some beers, eat some food, have a good time. Colby's going to win the fight, by the way. We'll get more into that in the Chop Sports Chop Heads Combat Sports podcast as we go. But yes, Chop Colby Heads against Masvidal. Street Jesus? Street Judas. What do they call him?
It depends who you are. Colby definitely calls him Street Judas.
So then he's Street Judas to me because I'm a Colby
guy. The media dubbed him Street Jesus.
Okay, well, he's Street Judas to me.
I refuse to say that.
Who?
I said I refuse to say that.
Yeah, no, he's Street Judas to me. But yeah, patreon.com, join that as well. And of course, first and foremost, a couple of the sponsors joining us, Lilac and Sage, okay, women's boutique. I didn't personally go on it yesterday, but I do know a couple people that went on it. They found some great items. If you enter the code CHOP10 at checkout, you get 10% off. Though it's a women's boutique. Be sure to treat the ladies. I know Valentine's Day was yesterday, which, by the way, people got it just like it's almost as if it's not a national requirement to put out a post about how much you're in love. Like it just doesn't. If you have to do that, you're trying too hard, and I think that it's counterproductive. Because then what? Then you got to follow it up the next day and do it again.
Well, I think a lot of this is generational. Whereas maybe people at our age may not be inclined to post everything on social media about their private life, but other people, look, that's just the way of the world now. So I just look the other way. Honestly, I'm probably borderline in trouble for not making my obligatory post.
Don't be in trouble.
But I don't think that
you don't post
honestly,
at all.
I don't think that I'm in trouble. I was just saying.
What I'm saying is this. If you don't, you barely post, bro. If you go to your Instagram, you don't have any posts. So like, if you posted every day and then didn't post something for Valentine's Day, I'd be like, yo, man, come on.
Kind of fucked up, dude.
Yeah, man. But like, come on, dude. If you don't post, then it's not a thing, right? So it doesn't matter. Shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's all about the power of the Instagram story, though.
Yes,
then
okay,
it's not really a post.
You put it in your story?
I didn't.
But anyway,
that doesn't mean that I do not love her and that I did not want to wish her a happy Valentine's Day.
I'm gonna be sick. But yeah, happy Valentine's Day, Ash. I'm sure she's watching from the other room.
I'm gonna get a text in a second.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Like I'm not mad.
So lilacandsage.com. I'm sorry, it was lilacsageboutique.com. Sorry. So that's my co-producer of that commercial. Be sure to get over there. Support small business. This is a business also owned by veterans. So they've served our country for the love of God. So do yourself a favor, support small business. Speaking of another business, manscaped.com. That's right. Chop Sports is the code. This is all practice for me because we're not doing the official reads until next week. But make sure if you're going to be treating if
you got some furry balls, you need to get this lawnmower 4.0, baby.
Yes, there's a whole bunch of stuff on the way to the studio right now. We might actually get it today to experience it and try it. We're getting one ball trimmer between the two of us.
I call Thursdays.
I call Fridays for the weekend. Fresh cut Fridays. But anyway, so yes.
Yo, Nick Shine, what kind of comment is this? I can't even bring it up.
What?
You're telling me that I'm an underground IG DM legend. Now that's gonna get. Now if there's anything that's gonna get me in trouble,
I know what he's talking about. You send a lot of clips.
Yeah, like funny clips.
Yes, you send a lot. I get 2 a day, 3 a day from you. And like we text all day, but like I think you have like a list of people that just it automatically sends
I have my I pick out who I think is gonna appreciate this funny clip or this
amazing
to
call him
clip.
a DM legend is a little sus. I wouldn't say it like that. So it's not definitely like that. I caught Dina using the lawnmower 4.0 on the cats last night. Speaking of cats, my cat Dez returns to his home today. I'm very excited.
I think
he's good. He's peeing on his own now.
I think my cat is pregnant.
Oh God. You know what, dude? I don't want to go off on a tangent on cats. And
we tried to get the
cat
cat fixed,
care.
but she was like 6 pounds or 6 ounces too light. They wouldn't do it. And then she just took it upon herself to
get knocked up.
Yeah, to take care of business
nice.
that way.
Girl.
I will say this though: on Sunday morning, Super Bowl Sunday morning, I have all these bets out. I'm putting money everywhere, right? Blah blah blah. I got to go to the vet because my cat's like moaning, like like the entire for 2 days. I'm like, something's wrong with my boy Dez, right? And yes, he was named after Dez Bryant before Dez Bryant blocked me on Twitter. So Dez was sick. We brought him to the vet. And of course, these are your pets, guys. So everybody's going to do everything for their pets, no matter what the cost. Dude, they slid over a $2,400 bill to fix my cat. I almost said, open up the back door and I'll just forget I saw anything. But I'm thinking of my kids. I'm thinking about the people that love this cat.
It's not going to happen, bro.
I can't. I'll pay everything. If they came to me and by the way, it's 10 G's to make this cat feel better tomorrow. I'm 10 G's in the hole.
I went to Ashley. I was like, we have to get insurance for the cat now. And then she's like, it's funny. That. She's like, I've been telling you to take care of insurance for yourself because I'm the worst with taking care of anything that's to do with my health.
It put me back on Super Bowl Sunday. Open up the back door. Pause. Oh, damn. Yeah, that is a pause moment. Good job.
Well caught.
Shine on the money with that one. Also, before we get into the meat and potatoes and everything that's going on in the world of sports, aka just football, Jimmy Palumbo is going on stage April 1st, ladies and gentlemen, from the Carteret Avenel.
It's April 1st in Avenel.
Avenel Performing Arts Center. The after party is at Curtains Restaurant. So anybody who hasn't grabbed a ticket, there's a pre-sale going on right now, and it's actually really good.
There's only 40 spots left.
Yeah, there's not a lot of seats left. So if you guys want to check out Jimmy Palumbo, which, by the way, a new episode dropped today, go check out Jimmy. I'll be there. It'll be fun. We'll drink. We'll have a good time. We'll have some laughs. And Jimmy's actually a really funny dude. As annoying as he is, he's a very funny guy. He actually is, in fact, a comedian after all. So I love Jimmy to death. And, go check him out.
I'm going to sit front row and see if you can get me to laugh.
It's going to be tough.
I might smirk a few times, but
it's going to be tough.
Getting me to laugh is a tough deal.
It is.
Tommy D did it the other day with the land Ariel
thing.
I actually laughed.
I went home and watched it a couple times.
Very rare.
Man, that's gold. All right. So sports, right? I mean, that's what we're here for. Before we get into everything else, not Murray yet. Damn, Gina, just jumping the gun.
They know. Now they know.
Now they know.
Now they know.
But I wanted to touch on the Knicks first. Of how bad the Knicks are and how much money
I have Nets news too. So
you have all right. So the Knicks obviously lost to the Thunder last night, which, by the way, they were 10-point favorites. They lost outright. Are you kidding me? This is we've hit rock bottom as a fan base, as a team. I think Scoop's biggest thing was at least they dropped the same guys out there every night. What is that? A moral victory?
I think that's Scoop's way of saying get Fournier to the bench and put somebody else in there that's younger. And I think that's
was his dig.
That's a dig at Kyle.
Okay.
Yes,
see, I didn't know that.
Get with it.
Man.
Nets news.
You had some.
It came out today that KD is the one that traded Harden, not the Nets.
That's great.
So Kevin Durant was like, yeah, you know what? This dude's annoying. He's kind of fat. I think he's drunk during the games. So he called Sean Marks at the final hour of the deadline.
Sean Marks I just got this bloody guy. Why am I going to trade him
away? He was
away?
like, yeah, it's time to move on from this dude. We want the other psychopath from Philly to come in here and see if he could figure things out. Now, picture Ben Simmons and Kyrie.
Has he suited up yet?
I don't think so.
Simmons for the Nets? I don't think
so,
so, right?
Ben Simmons was citing mental health issues why he wasn't playing in Philly. Is coming to Brooklyn going to fix all that?
Yeah,
and I'm imagining that's
that New York media won't eat him up the first free throw he misses. Should lead with Murray, start small, get bigger as you go. Thank you. I'll show myself out. That is the first topic when we get to football. But yeah, there's a couple things I wanted to touch on, the basketball stuff. It's just it's getting to the point where it's just nauseating to watch the Knicks. However, I did win a unit last night. Just one. I followed the sauce and I followed one of AJ's plays, which did not hit. Again, I got to start doing my own research when it comes to I just I get a feel. You know what it is? AJ has some good words of persuasion. His write-ups are very detailed. I will say, if you go to Kyle Kerns, no, actually his is not on KyleKerns.com. So it's on Twitter. all his write-ups and stuff, they're very detailed. So like I actually took a couple to heart yesterday. I was like, you know, he's got a good point here. Bang, put the money down. Bang, lose.
So more on the Nets though, and I did read this the other day as well, and Kyle brings up a good point in the comments section that Kyrie and Harden have been going at it in scrimmages, and Kyrie's been getting the better of him, even though he's not really in basketball shape. And I think it's part of the reason why the Nets were moving on. At least this is what the article said.
Really?
I'm not sure if there's any legs to that, but if that is the case and Harden wanted out because he was not able to beat one of his teammates in his scrimmage, that's probably the softest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, NBA players being soft?
Serious?
Stop. Go on.
Well, I mean, every single athlete at some point nowadays, it's just a generation. I
Wait
think
a
the
minute.
generation is soft across the board. People
Hold
say that
on.
about all the sports.
Hold on. AJ went 4-1 last night. So I picked the one loser.
Yeah, that's why
stop. I gotta stop.
Look, Dave.
I gotta stop. Listen, I played the whole slate on or 5 games worth the top plays. I played the top plays yesterday.
Picking.
I didn't cherry pick on the sauce. I picked the top plays, and I think he went 3-2. If I had him, 3-2. So that's why I went plus money. But yeah, I cherry picked the one prop and I lost. Damn it. I gotta start. All right. Well, I gotta get the bankroll up, man. It's freaking the roll is no bueno right now after the Super Bowl. I lost a nice chunk of change on all those stupid props.
Okay, so I just
You
got
have
a
to
Had
text.
the orange
I just got a
Gatorade. Why
text
not?
from Nick Shine. Thank you, Nick Shine, for this, because this is what we're talking about. Kyrie beat James Harden one-on-one almost every day in practice, and Kyrie was barely even in basketball shape. It demoralized Harden. What a fat fuck. Things reached the breaking point. Oh,
This is what
see, this
coming
isn't
from
even
Shine?
written in English, so I hope you didn't write this, Nick Shine. Things reached the breaking point came when when Kyrie called Harden washed after completely locking him up on one scrimmage, and an assistant had to break up as 2 tempers flared, and the relationship spiraled downhill from there. This is the worst thing I've ever read in my life. Actually, I retract my my sense of gratitude for that, Nick, because it wasn't even written in English.
You must be either
it further proves the point, nonetheless,
be
that Harden
drunk this
sucks
early,
at
right?
basketball.
I don't think so. I mean, it's 11-12 in the morning. I don't know if Dean has cracked that. What is that? Diet Coke. What else is
Diet Coke.
fucking new? Another Diet Coke on the docket. But anyway, let's get into some football because we are not letting football die, ladies and gentlemen. I know football ended yesterday, or Sunday rather. Yesterday we got to talk about the Super Bowl. Now there's actually, you know what? Shout out to, who was it? There was a Twitter account. I put them on blast because they were like, look at did you see the freeze frame of the final play on Jamar Chase running clear? Okay.
Yeah.
One of the guys, I can't remember who, and it doesn't matter because it should be an uncredible source at this point. He goes, imagine the time you would have had they drafted Penny Sewell. Then you don't have freaking Jamar Chase running down the sidelines. You don't get both. So stop, you dork. You have no idea what you're talking about. That made me so irate.
Dumb. I mean, maybe they would have been better off if they drafted Penny Sewell down the line, but for this season, it was Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase was
an
absolute monster.
He basically won them the Chiefs game single-handedly. He made Joe Burrow, and I know that I'm a big Joe Burrow fan, but really the story this season for the Bengals, as good as Burrow played, really it was Jamar Chase. Like that's the difference maker to me on that offense.
Shine clearing the air. Speaking of clearing the air, Shine says it was from a reporter screenshot. So whoever that reporter is, take his or her credentials because they can't write. So anyway, we're talking about one guy trying to clear the air is Kyler Murray. He took to Instagram yesterday and he went out there and said, this ain't me. I don't do this kind of stuff. No drama, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, you deleted your entire Instagram account. That's not causing drama. Don't tell me you're above that. Don't tell me you're
maybe his inadequate PR person did it for him. And
no shot. These guys all have their own social medias now at this point, except for Jimmy. Like, you know, like everybody runs their own social media. And this guy wiped his shit clean. And yeah, you know what? Good job. It's all coming back.
You got it?
Got it.
You got it.
Yes.
But did you just really, he wiped his shit clean?
Yeah.
We're all over the place right now. So he wiped his ass after taking a dump.
Yes.
And then he scrubbed his Instagram.
Yes. The Instagram scrubbing, when you erase your
it's a direct message.
It's a direct message.
It's like
a shot fired.
In some ways, we'll call it a DM.
Yes.
It's a direct message to the team that you want out or that you're unhappy. I don't know. I don't think Kyler wants out. I think he understands the business at this point.
But he said that he was set up for failure. What does that mean?
Quarterbacks in their rookie contract. Is he in his rookie contract still?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. Kyler's definitely in his rookie contract.
Definitely.
So quarterbacks in their rookie contract don't just get out. You know, like their value is too high right now, even though he's a high pick. He was the first pick overall. So he is getting paid more than a typical rookie contract, but still, there's no way. Like the value on Kyler is there. the team is fully invested in him. They get rid of everybody before they get rid of the quarterback in this situation. The coach goes, whoever
it was a piss poor attempt to clear his name because he's the one who did it. He's the one who started this drama. He's the one. And then I heard some crap on friggin' ESPN coming into it. I don't know why I do this to myself, especially after a good workout, right? At LA Fitness and where are we?
Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I know what's coming.
You know what's coming.
I'm sure everybody else knows what's coming.
So all of a sudden you're listening to Keyshawn and I like Keyshawn, but then there's Max Kellerman, and I think that dude needs to just stop talking sports outside of boxing. I think he has a brilliant boxing mind. Stick to that, Max, because everything else you talk is just a sheet in front of you. Who can we piss off today, right? And then they're talking about a straight-up trade, Dak Prescott for Kyler Murray. Stop it. Stop it. They're like, well, Kyler Murray doesn't lose in AT&T Stadium, and they would change the dynamic. And with that running game, and he'd be relinked with CeeDee Lamb and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, they're not. They just paid Dak Prescott all this money.
At least,
there's no
at
trade.
Least Dak, you could say, is like a mentally strong guy. The way all these reports are coming out about Kyler right now is that he's just weak-minded, playing the blame game. He's upset with how he feels that the team is making him the scapegoat. I don't think the team is doing anything. I think the media does what they do. That's not on the team. Kyler, you lost. You got beat up in the playoffs.
But he also said, I was set up for failure. What does that mean? That, to me, that's a direct shot at your coaching.
And the front office, I don't know. I mean, set up for failure. They went out and traded for Hopkins. They did a lot of things. They got James
J.J. Watt to help the defense.
They made moves on offense. They got, no. You set yourself up by being 5'4".
This is why this whole tries to clear the air thing doesn't sit well with me, because I just don't think he did a good job. I think he did a piss poor job at doing that. We'll see how this plays out. There's a lot of things on the calendar. We'll get into it as we get into free agency, but there's a lot of dates to keep in mind about, because we'll be going into that. But before we get into all the free agents, somehow, some way, another rumor about Carson Wentz being moved on from another team. The Eagles shipped him off like he was nothing, right? I mean, yes, they got some compensation for him. I get it. But now, all of a sudden, reports coming out that the Colts want out of Carson Wentz as well. Like, are we just – when are we going to concede that this guy's not the leader that everybody thinks and hopes he would be? Because he's clearly not. He's clearly not the guy. Philly moved on from him, and now the Colts, after 1 year – is done with it?
I didn't particularly read the report. So, like, I saw...
It did come from Florio, from Pro Football Talk.
Like, it could be a lot of bullshit. I don't know that the Colts are in a position to move on from Wentz. A, I don't think the contract is all that bad.
Where are they
at this
go?
Point. B, I know the Colts had a lot of money to spend last offseason. I'm not sure where they're at right now. I know you were looking earlier at the free agent, cap space and things, but are the Colts in a position to make a serious move? Do they have draft capital? Do they have?
Well, they just got draft cap. They gave it up for Carson Wentz.
Well, I don't know. Did they give up that much?
Remember, one of them turned into a first because of the snap count, and then another first.
You're right.
Yeah, so they gave up a lot of more. They mortgaged their future around Carson Wentz, and now why say that things are like there's friction or
gun to my head? I don't know.
Where are you going, Carson?
I want to know the source. Like, I know that Frank Reich has a really good relationship with Carson Wentz and was like over the moon ecstatic about bringing Wentz to Indy. I don't see this as a situation that is really going to gain much steam over the offseason. I don't think many teams are going to be willing to give up much capital for a guy like Carson Wentz when there's going to be potential Jimmy G's that are actually on the market. And I mean, Jimmy G's almost the same thing as Wentz. He's probably a better leader, better winner. But yeah, Indy's in trouble if they move on from Wentz unless they're able to bring in a guy like I said, I have no idea.
We'll go over the free agents, but I mean, to me, I feel like this is definitely a play to trade him for another starting quarterback who's starting right now in the NFL, like a swap with Kirk Cousins or something to that effect. I don't know. Pittsburgh, maybe. I don't know. Like
I could see Wentz in Pittsburgh, but I don't see it. I don't see Pittsburgh giving up anything to get Carson Wentz. I just think that the Steelers aren't going to move on next year with a rookie quarterback. I think that there's going to be somebody else. It's going to be a veteran guy, maybe a Jimmy G, one of these Cousins guys, maybe even Winston. I'm not sure what their money looks like, but I could see Jameis and Pitt.
We'll see. So speaking of seeing guys go to different locations, there is, the quarterbacks will start with, but we do want to dive into free agency. Just so you know, here's the calendar. Okay.
Look at that belly.
I know, right? This is great. The new league year starts on March 16th. So that's when everybody's contract runs up, and then you're now either a free agent or you're going into your next year of your contract, right? On February 22nd, which is actually a week from today, the franchise tag opens up. So you're allowed to tag whoever the hell you want. You only get one. And then obviously I think there's like a transitional tag or something like that. There's like different kinds of tags, but there's only one. You can use that from February 22nd to March 8th. And then after that, on July 15th, the franchise tag is now unable to be slapped on anybody. So you have to play in your contract year, if you're a last year of your contract, whatever. But we decided offense today, defense tomorrow. NFL free agency is going to be here before you know it. And there are teams in a situation where they have money, and then there are teams that are really hurting right now. So to just give you a brief idea of cap space before we get into free agents of where you could potentially land, right? Leading the league in cap space are the Miami Dolphins. Now, they have a brand new head coach. They got a new regime going on in there. The owner's under fire. He needs to perform. They have $63 million to spend this offseason. The cap has gone up to 208. So that's the projected cap as of right now with the new launch and the new leap of that. So $63 million for the Dolphins, $59 million for Scoops Jaguars. The Bengals. Now, this is the one that really intrigues me. The Bengals are coming off a Super Bowl loss, and they have $57 million.
I said this earlier to you.
Space.
The Bengals are probably the cheapest franchise in all of sports.
You did say that.
That's just a thing that's been happening. So
you don't foresee them helping out?
Their owner is a douche. He doesn't know how to build a football team. Obviously, they have Joe Burrow. Maybe they'll change the ideals in Cincinnati, but just basically over the course of history, the Bengals, it's been a shithole to play in. Look at the way Carson Palmer was like, I'll retire. And they called his bluff, and he actually did retire and left football for a year. That's how bad he wanted out of there. They kind of screwed AJ Green over towards the tail end too.
$56 million for the Chargers, and the New York Jets comes in at $48 million. The other side of the spectrum, which guys are, as these free agents come to be, you're not going to get too excited because you got to do a lot of shifting around on your own team first. Coming in at the reddest of the red is the Saints at $75 million. So good luck to that defensive coordinator who just became the head coach. Maybe that's why Sean Payton wanted Outski, because boy, oh boy, like that's a lot of wheeling and dealing. But unfortunately for me and Gooch, next is the Packers at $50 million over the cap right now. And the Dallas Cowboys are $21 million over the cap right now. And of course, the Vikings, the Rams, the Giants, the Titans, the Niners, those teams kind of in the middle. They're also in the red, but not as bad. But Jesus Christ, the Saints, somehow they do it every year, right? Like they do it every year. They'll be fine. But $75 million.
I'm just going to prove how the salary cap is a myth with this one statement. And I know it's going to be Packer related, but I'm just going to use this as an example because you've seen the Rams do it. You've seen the Saints do it. The Packers right now are the second worst cap situation in the NFL, but at the same time, they're set to offer Aaron Rodgers a record extension to make him the highest paid player in the NFL.
Riddle me this.
Explain.
How does that work?
They're also about to franchise tag Devontae Adams.
Which, by the way, I also want to point out. I want to point out the franchise tag value. So look, if you guys are unaware of how it works, you get one franchise tag, but depending on the guy's position is how much it's going to cost your team against the cap. The quarterback is obviously the highest, $29.5 million this year. Running back, only 9.5. That's good. If you're running back as a free agent, you're in a good spot. The receiver, though, like a Devontae Adams, is $18.5 million against the cap. So if they don't extend,
I think that's actually going to be higher too. I know that this is that a fact or is that
that's
projected?
A fact? I'm looking right at it. Yeah.
I keep seeing higher. I keep seeing 22. I'm hoping it's 18.
Yeah, $11 million for the tight end, and then finishing up the offense. An offensive lineman will cost you $16.5 million for the 1 year. Nick Shine brought something up. You could bring that up again just so I can read it. Jets number is misleading because the 2 top 10 picks, they're going to need an estimated $20 million to sign the draft class. Very true. Very true. That is very misleading. So maybe the Jets won't be as active.
I do want to call out one of Ken Pullman's comments because he said Rodgers to the Steelers would clear a ton of cap space for you. Well, I did read a comment on Facebook probably about 2 weeks ago where you said, I don't want Rodgers in Pittsburgh. We lose enough in the playoffs. So pump your brakes, Ken. He is not available for you.
Yeah, just stirring the pot. That's all he's doing right now. Stirring the pot.
Bubble up over here.
It's bubbling up. So those are the franchise tag numbers. But if we're going to start with quarterback, right?
You have Carson Wentz, though.
Yeah, you can have Carson Wentz. Start with quarterback. Obviously, you have the poster boy right now, and that's Jameis Winston. Technically, they have Roethlisberger, listed as a free agent. Clearly, he retired. He's done. Other quarterbacks include Teddy Bridgewater, Fitzpatrick, Andy Dalton, Cam Newton, Ty Taylor, Jameis Winston, what we just said, Jacoby Brissett, Joe Flacco. So there's a lot of quarterbacks that are out there. But Gooch, the guys I just rolled off, are any of those guys a potential starter?
There's one starting caliber quarterback, and that's Winston. I think the Saints are a playoff team over Philly, no doubt in my mind.
Now, with the Saints being $75 million in the hole, what are they going to do? They might have to. They might have to go Taysom Hill.
No, I think if anything, Taysom Hill, there's no guaranteed money in his contract whatsoever.
His contract is so
I
wacky.
would say Taysom Hill, out of all the players in the NFL that are a potential cap casualty, he's the top of the list. I can't imagine them bringing him back because you could give that money to Winston. You know, I think the Saints kind of have something with Winston. I know the players like him. I was listening to, was it Cam Hayward? No, he's a Steelers. Cam Jordan?
Yes, he's a
Cam
Saint.
Jordan's a Saint. I was listening to an interview. And
what a good guy. He's a Saint.
Yeah, that's funny, actually. He was politicking basically in an interview over Super Bowl week to say, Jameis, come on back, bro. Like, we need you. So obviously teammates like Jameis Winston. I know the media has their fun with the guy, but he's a hard worker. And I saw him like a month removed from ACL surgery doing the same funky, weird ass drills that he always does. So I wouldn't. Who we got in MMA?
Yeah, Stimmy OG actually came in. What about Stimmy Garoppolo? He is not a free agent. So that has to be traded.
It's actually funny.
And it's Stimmy Garoppolo. That's actually really funny. But he's not a free agent, not on this list at least. So I mean, I think he's got one more year left on his deal. But that's why it's tradable, because there's only one more year. And if you do trade him, you'll more than likely extend him past that. Let's see. MMA court coming in. I want to hear about Colby and Jorge right the F now. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait, or you can go to chopsportsmedia.com right now and well, shit, that's not available yet, but it will be available in the afternoon. The Chop Heads Combat Sports podcast, hosted by myself, Gooch, and of course the Reverend.
In other
Tommy
words,
D.
go subscribe to
go
that
subscribe.
podcast.
Yeah,
I'll send you the link. Justin.
And we're going to be getting on YouTube talking about this stuff too as well going forward in the future. Quick future. But yes, if you're watching this video right now, please do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, helps us out tremendously. So those are your quarterbacks. The way I see it is that Jameis Winston is in fact the only starting caliber guy. I may lean towards Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe. I'm talking desperation here. I'm talking this guy might get signed as a backup and wind up starting because of an injury, and he's capable.
Yeah, but he's not a starting
He's not going to get starting quarterback money.
He's a clear-cut backup in the league, and proven by the fact that he's had 3 stops, and all 3 stops he hasn't materialized anything as a starter. So while he may be decent stopgap guy, but Teddy Bridgewater is always going to be the Achilles heel on whatever offense he's running.
What about Cam Newton? You think he's done?
What about him?
I'm asking you.
Cam Newton was done 2 years ago. So as far as I see,
no team is going to take a chance on him or his cryptic Instagram post or anything like that.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Moving on over to the running back position, in which, a lot of people are out there saying, don't pay the running back, don't pay all this money for the running backs. Well, there is a nice little class. It's headlined by, I think, playoff Leonard Fournette. But here are just a couple of them just off the top of my head, or top of this list. Melvin Gordon, who received 47.5% of the snaps last year. So he got a workload. Melvin Gordon is a free agent. And now, if you think about, if you want to put a little bit of a fantasy spin on this, Javonte is the guy.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with it, because I don't think there's anybody that's going to move the needle in terms of running backs. Fournette might be a nice piece to an already good team. I almost have the same feel about free agent running backs that I do about drafting a running back, where the only time you draft a running back in the first round is if you're picking at the back end of the first round, you have a really good team and you just need that one extra piece.
That's player available.
And I think that the free agent running backs, particularly this class, there's nobody that you're going to give a bunch of money to, but there is some guys that you could, look at for situational football.
Yeah. David Johnson.
More so what I look at when I see free agent running backs is like, okay, who's the next guy in line on the team that he's leaving? And we already saw Javonte Williams was a beast all year.
I think he's going to be all right.
I think that, potential going forward for next season, a little advice is back end of the first round, early second round, Javonte Williams is definitely off the board for me.
I do want to, before we move off of running backs, there is one decent Patrick Ricard from the Ravens. He's a fullback, but he's a free agent. So if anybody's looking for a fullback, there's definitely ways to do it. But yeah, running backs, it's hard for me to pay this running back. I know, stupid coming from me saying like, pay Zeke, anything he wants.
But I think that what happens when you see a situation like that is you like the player. I want the Packers to pay Devontae Adams, but I understand that going forward, I'm going to be like, damn, man, that contract's horrible because he's 34.
The Zeke contract is tough.
And Zeke right now, as much as you liked him 3 years ago, right now, the shine is a little bit gone. You have your history with the guy, but come on, let's be real. You're paying him way too much. That's the fix right there. If you really want to be honest.
I'm not moving on from Zeke.
Yeah, you're not because you're a fan. But if they did, you would be fine.
I think
right?
But I don't
the Cowboys
look at Tony
off.
Pollard as a guy that can carry the rock every 3 downs.
But there's a guy that they could pick in the back of the second round that can.
Maybe
for
there's
dirt
something
cheap.
to that. I'm not gonna totally deny that fact, but I'm a Zeke apologist. I've been for a couple years
You're
now.
Gonna be for a couple more if
what?
Keep apologizing for Zeke for a couple more seasons.
Well, whatever. But anyway, so moving on to the wide receiver position, which obviously Gooch is very intrigued with because it is Davante Adams leading the class of free agents in the wide receiver market. But there are other really, really good receivers out there that if and when, let's just say hypothetical, okay, that the Packers do pay Rodgers all this money, right? And then Gooten, what's his name? Gooten, right?
Gooten.
He comes up to Aaron. He's like, look, man, we just paid you all this money. We cannot for the life of us bring back Davante Adams on what he wants, right? So then bye-bye Davante Adams. He's probably going to get upwards to maybe close to $30 million a year, which is absurd if you think about it.
What did you say the cap was? The tag was? He's going to get $18 million
if he gets tagged. Yeah. Now remember, just so you know, these players have to sign the tag. They have to agree. There is a window, and we said it,
or not play.
That's what I'm saying, or not play and not get paid. So you can either play on the tag or not, and just sit there and rot. Who knows? But I don't foresee Adams the kind of guy to sit there. But I'm not playing.
Well, I think if the Packers use the franchise tag on Davante Adams, I think what it would do is just open up a window of exclusivity for them and him to negotiate a long-term deal. If they can't get that deal,
you would have from March 8th to July 15th.
Yeah, but if they can't get the deal done within a couple weeks, then it's probably safe to say that they would move on at that point. Unfortunately for Packer fans, but in some ways also fortunately for Packer fans, because we would probably get if we tag him, the idea is that we would get compensation for him, and at least it's better than letting the guy walk.
Bailey McClug coming on in here. Unpopular opinion, but we paid Zeke based on his history. Love the back, but I think he needs Pollard in the lineup to have success. Like I just said, Pollard's there. He'll splash him. And I think that's the way it works.
Also,
he's not trying to go back to running back.
He needs to be fully healthy, which he hasn't been for a while.
He tore his PCL in week 4. So he played on that the entire season. For why, I have no idea. I don't understand the mindset. But then again, you think about it, in the same conversation, you're thinking, why did he play, Dave? Because he makes $16 million a year. That's why he played. Yeah. That's why Jerry was like, get that asshole in the game right now. He's making all this money. And, I'm like, all right, I guess he got to play, and I think he should have just rested. And I think he should have been a better, more effective, healthier running back down the line. I think Zeke is, again,
They should probably just cut him.
Maybe. No, let's not do that. Davante Adams obviously is the top of the list, but listen to this receiving class. Allen Robinson, okay, which I know you're a fan of. I mean, I don't know if he would go across town and play
he was
with
this
the
close.
Division
this
rival.
Close. What is you think he wants to leave the Bears and he has love for them? He probably hates that organization at this point.
Yeah, I can't foresee him being too happy there. He's been wasted. That's a wasted talent over there in Chicago. If he wants to roll with the new regime and not Kyler Murray, Justin Fields, maybe that's a thing. I don't know. But otherwise, Chris Godwin. Now, this one's interesting because he took less money to stay last year for the 1-year deal. Now he's coming back. No Tom Brady. So now I don't think he's going to be staying for any less money now.
Well, no, he's definitely not taking a team discount this time.
It's
not a whole run it back type deal.
$15 million
But they did make it a point. The Bucs said that that's their number one priority going into the offseason.
Is to get Godwin back?
Was to bring Godwin back. But he's also got an ACL now, does he not?
Yes, he just got hurt.
So it is a late season ACL, which another big name wide receiver that was set to hit the free agent market with Odell Beckham. They're fearing now that he retore the same ACL that he tore a couple years back. So
yeah,
Odell,
that's unfortunate.
He might have to take that discount again.
Odell made $1.5 million last year, and now he's set to hit the free agent market with a new ACL. So there's a lot of guys like that. Godwin, Beckham, Gallup, they're all free agents. They're all free agents to be. Other one, Juju Smith-Schuster is out there. I don't like him per se, but he's out there. T.Y. Hill.
I don't like him per se, but I would definitely take him on my team because he's a really good football player.
The Jets might be losing 2 receivers, Jamison Crowder and Keelan Cole.
I'd also take Jamison Crowder.
Crowder's a good slot guy. I feel like he's a very Randall Cobb-esque is Jamison Crowder.
Very reliable, good third down guy. Yeah.
Mike Williams coming off a really good year for the Chargers as a free agent. But the Chargers are also $56 million up. So my assumption is they bring him back or tag him. Other ones, Cordarrelle Patterson, who all of a sudden reinvented the wheel. He's a free agent. He's a Swiss Army knife now. Now, kind of curious to know what his market is as a running back or as a receiver.
So it's like him and Debo are this kind of. I wonder if the 49ers kind of saw what the Falcons were doing with Cordarrelle Patterson, and that was kind of like, hey, that's working really well. We have Debo, and he could do that way better. I think that there is some truth to that possibly, because if you look at the way it happened this year, Debo wasn't getting the carries like he was in the second half early on.
No, he was not. Here's a question for you, though. Ready for this? This is going to actually be an anomaly. The Falcons, they need to slap a franchise tag on Cordarrelle Patterson. What do? Do they slap it as a running back or do they slap it as a receiver? Odds are they slap it as a running back.
100%, but you could expect there to be another case like there was with Jimmy Graham back in the day.
All of a sudden, they just changed his position.
Jimmy Graham was basically lining up at wide receiver every single snap, but they were listing him as a tight end. So when he got tagged, it was like $6 million instead of getting the $14 million that wideouts would get. So,
oh my God, Bailey McClug actually comes in. First time being able to watch the live show. He's on the West Coast. He's the Velveeta Cheese Kid on Twitter. I'm right. Didn't I tell you Velveeta hit me up? And
yeah,
shout out to this guy, man. What up, Bailey? I know who you are. All right, so that's the wide receiver class. Deshaun Jackson out there. Let's see if he finds a home. Beckham. There's a lot, dude. Christian Kirk, Marquise Goodwin. They're all out. This list goes on and on.
Yeah, there's a ton of wideouts. So if the Packers, they do have some safety nets out there. If Devontae does happen to walk,
that's what I'm saying. All right, so let's just say you can't afford him. Who do you want? Just as a fan.
Me, who do I want?
Allen?
I would take Allen Robinson because I feel like he's got some juice left in the tank, some gas left, and I think he'd be kind of bitter about the way things went in Chicago, so he'd have some motivation there. And I'm a Penn State fan, so bringing Allen Robinson to Green Bay would be ideal for me. And I don't think he'll be that expensive because he's coming off of a down year.
Top free agent wide receiver, Braxton Berrios. That was a great signing.
I also think Brandon Cooks will become available very shortly.
That guy, I feel like he's always available.
Yeah, but I also feel like he's always productive. Yeah. No matter where he's gone, Brandon Cooks has actually been solid.
All right. What are we going? What's next? Tight end, offensive line. Okay. So now the offensive line, it's intriguing because obviously the one topic of conversation with the Bengals is, hey, we need to protect Joe Burrow. The way you do that is usually within the draft, but there's a couple guys out there that are going to be free agents. As far as snap count is concerned, 97% of the snaps by Dwayne Brown over in Seattle. His is a voided contract, so he's going to be available as well. Who do we have up there as the main poster boy there? That's Trent Brown. So he played only 44% of the snaps. He's 29 years old, so he's got some youth to him. You could do that. There's also Brandon Sheriff, who is the right guard. He played 61% of the snaps. He made $18 million last year. So that boy's going to get paid as well. There are Teron Armstead, again, a guy that the Saints are going to have to somehow figure out if they want to keep him around, because again,
probably be a
they got some decisions.
I think that there's the big move that the Bengals make, if any. There's that StreamYard logo up there, by the way.
What's up with that?
Anyway, keep going.
Oh,
where's that coming from?
That's coming from the. Don't worry about it. I mean, there you go. Good.
Completely lost my train of thought.
That's
that little
I don't know why that popped up. That's so weird. StreamYard's.
I was talking about. I think the Bengals are going to make a big splash with the offensive line because all that money that they have all the skill.
You said they're cheap though, so
they are cheap. But if there's something that they could probably do economically, would be getting a tackle or a guard.
You guys got to do a trade show. The players rumored to be available through trades a lot more intriguing than this free agency list. I agree too. So maybe we'll. But do
here's
that
the
later.
thing that
or maybe you should bring your big ass down to the studio and we'll talk. How about that? How about that, Nick Shine? That's definitely.
I think as the off season starts to materialize, like right now, we're just introducing the off season to you guys. So as things materialize towards March, we'll definitely get into more of the trade rumors and where people will end up and things like that. For sure. All right, tight ends. Before we wrap up the offense tomorrow, we'll do defense. Tight ends, the class is headlined by Zach Ertz, who had himself a nice little year with Kyler Murray after the trade, but now he needs to get paid. He played 73% of the snaps, so the guy's on the field a lot. He's 32. He made $8.5 million last year with $13 million in guarantees, so that was definitely legitimate. But the one underneath him is Gronk. Now, do you think Gronk finds a way onto a team, or is he returning to Tampa? Or what do you think the Gronk story is going to be? I think Gronk's going to retire. Done. I think he made a funny joke about getting on board with Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow ended up losing the game. So why does he want to go there? CJ Uzama is also a free agent, so they might need a tight end. So that's intriguing. That's funny to think about. Jimmy Graham also
free agent. Ebron, Cook, Tanyan, your boy, coming off injury, free agent. Do you think that other guy, the guy that replaced him, did enough to be the starting, or are they going to have to address tight end?
No, they definitely got to address tight end.
Has to be,
Tanyan
right?
Probably will be out for a little bit of next year.
Doesn't matter. He's a free agent.
I think the Packers will probably bring Tanyan back.
But
the Packers had Mercedes Lewis. They have a decent core of tight ends. Josiah DeGuara, who they drafted.
That's the guy I was
early.
talking about.
Yeah, I feel like the tight ends are decent over there, but they don't have a real legitimate pass catcher at tight end. Even if they bring Tanyan back, he's more of a red zone guy. I would love Zach Ertz in Green Bay. I love it.
Zach Ertz is a phenomenal athlete. I think he's great. I think he's got some. I think he still has some better years ahead of him. I know Dallas Goedert just kind of came out, shot out of a cannon with Philly. Bailey coming. It never happened, but Gronk could actually protect Burrow. Well, I guess he could block. So
I don't think he means protect Burrow. I think he means as a safety net.
Oh yeah, of course,
having a tight end like Gronk.
Yeah. That could be a thing, man.
But look, at what point is the wheels going to fall off for Gronk? I feel like this season he was really struggling to
mentally,
stay on the field. Well, the wheels are they're gone. But
yeah,
that's part of what makes Gronk what he is, though. It makes him great is his attitude. But yeah, the wheels are falling off with Gronk, man. He's old. I don't think he's going to chase anything. He's paid. He's doing commercials, the most annoying commercials in the history of the world. He's doing commercials. He's already got 41 fucking rings.
Which, by the way,
and Tom Brady have been dating on the side for 11 years at this point. So what is he going to go do? Cheat on him with Joe Burrow?
Which, by the way, it's funny. You should say he makes the worst commercials. In you were saying you didn't like any of the NFL commercials for the Super Bowl?
I did not.
Really?
I hated the Sopranos commercial.
What the? That's like the one thing that it made me almost want to go watch.
So if you're like, I wonder what this is about, and it's like, are they doing a Sopranos movie like with the actual cast, and is this like going to be a real good thing? And then it's like, no, it's just a car commercial, and you're like, how much down? How is it on gas? Oh, it's not. Is it electric? Because they're not really telling me much.
No. Well, honestly, I find it as a great commercial because that's where I grew up in that area. Like you see a bunch of places that you see every Sunday when you go to grandma's house, which by the way, happy birthday, Grandma Rose up in heaven.
The best and worst commercial at the same time was the scan bar.
Oh, it was the one. And of course I'm like, oh, look, a thing.
It was by far the most effective one because their website traffic shot up.
Oh, 100%.
So I didn't go on to go on to the Chevy Cavalier or whatever that truck commercial was and say, hey, I wonder what that truck is all about after the Super Bowl.
The only next shot,
let alone during.
The only thing to make me dislike the military is Gronk doing USAA commercials.
Okay, you got me. This is Robert Gronkowski, Super Bowl champion. Oh my God, slap that face.
It's so bad. Oh, and here, Mark, that's not a bad play. Gronk goes back to the WWE. He's got a role there. The WWE would take him back.
Yeah, because all you'd have to do is show up once every 4 months, like all the rest of the guys.
Ooh, I like this. Sopranos hidden message that Meadow and AJ survived. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they survived the attack on
Survived
Tony.
What?
The last episode. Do I have to ruin the Sopranos for you?
No, I know, but like it's not like they were in like I don't think that kids get killed like that in the mob, do they?
Everybody gets killed. Are you kidding?
There is no rules in the mob.
This is not the cartel.
I'm not saying it's a cartel. It's the same rules.
I don't think that people are often children in the. I mean,
they weren't children at the end of the season. At the end of the series, they were grown adults.
AJ did have a shootable face, so I get it.
But he was doing hood rat.
Soprano,
shit
not Bascone. Sorry, if AJ's just catching this now. But
wait, that's why who was emotional? Meadow. What was she emotional? 13 years after the fact.
Again for the first time. Like
man, it's been a while. They probably were in protective
custody. So we're to assume
now we're gonna really dissect this.
We're to assume that was their reunion, and did they go do it in front of the store that their dad got plugged at?
Stevie Mac coming in. I loved it. I used to eat at bars all the time. Seeing that was so cool.
The only good thing
I
know
I
probably
like his picture.
The only good thing about that intro was the pig that they have from some meat shop in Elizabeth that I've seen my entire life going to my grandma's. That's about the only thing that was cool about that commercial.
Oh man, they used to. I think in the intro they used the original intro. They used Pizza Land. I think the name of the place was. I mean, it's like spells Harrison and Newark and Kearney. That was my Sunday.
See, we got Sam Grasso coming in and saying family is off limits in the Italian mob, and I always thought that it's like you don't.
Oh, Sam, what are you talking about, bro? I'm like, I lost my uncle Al Fresco, shot dead in the back of the head, no red bicycle. If anybody can name me that movie that I just did, I will personally give you $25 off of any merch you want. So that's
half of the people in the comments are like, dude, I got stacks on stacks of discount codes right now. It's Joe Palumbo and
Joe Palumbo we owe money to.
Yeah. So Joe, we'll just tack it on the top of that.
Tack it on that. If anybody can nail that movie line, okay? I'll just say it now. I woke up on Christmas morning. I came down the stairs, and what do I see? Uncle Alfresco shot dead through the back of the head. And the worst part, no red bicycle. If anybody can name that, bro, you'll be my best friend for life. For life. Like we'll hang out today. We'll go out and grab a beer because that is one of the best movies of all time.
Is there really like a time limit?
No, there's no time limit, but if my dad's watching live, he'll probably chime in.
I hope Ben Wexler comes in with the answer, so you got to go out for some beers with Ben later. You have to unblock him.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Dad just texted me. He just texted me. It popped up, and he got it, of course. He just texted me. I will not. Oh, shit, Ken Paulman. Damn it. All right, I owe you more money. And now Kyle Kerm's coming in, but Ken Paulman was first. My Blue Heaven is one of my favorite underrated movies of all time. Steve Martin's in it. He's like
I know the movie now that Steve Martin. I know all that shit, but I don't have titles.
And that quote though, and got the answer that.
I don't. No,
I don't think Ken Paulman is not cheating.
No, that was a guess though. Good guess. But My Blue Heaven, great movie. There's a line in that I suggest.
I don't know about the sauce though. Maybe the sauce cheated.
I suggest you use when you're out shopping, grocery shopping with Ashley, right? And she goes into the frozen food section, opens up the door. You got to say, it's dangerous for you to be in the frozen food section.
Why do you sound like why do you sound like Jerry Jones right now?
I don't know.
No, you don't.
And she's going to say, why? Why is it dangerous? Because you can melt all this stuff. That's the greatest line of all time. I got to use it once, and she looked at me like, why are you filming me? I'm like, forget it.
Yeah, so let's be real. Like, exact reaction you got. Now, Ash. So yes. If I'm like, hey, Ash, what are you doing in there? It's dangerous. It's like, the fuck are you saying to me?
Forget it.
Forget it. It's gonna be like, go look at the Ben and Jerry's flavors and shut up.
Anyway, so
grocery shopping.
Chris hates everything right now.
I feel like
Chris hates the world.
I feel less than manly when I push the grocery cart around. I have two.
I require to do that because I don't want to be the douche on the side like, what do we need? And just walking down. I mean, if I'm manning the cart,
I feel like just standing there and pushing it I feel very ladylike. I can't help it. And
it takes away your masculinity.
You know what I do? You know how I operate?
When the one wheel is definitely
the only way a red-blooded male is allowed to grocery shop is by standing in front of the cart and pulling it like a real boss.
I can, I hear in the background the Home Depot theme song, like boom, 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 boom.
Or
you're pulling something.
Or if you're like struggling with lower back pain, you could lean on the cart. You get what I'm saying? Like.
Oh my God!
You can't grip it and rip it,
dude.
You cannot grip it.
You're putting a lot of thought into this, and that's very alarming. Like, like Chris, obviously, Ashley coming in saying you definitely don't like grocery shopping at all. Doesn't matter how heavy the basket. I'm not grabbing a cart.
That's also very true. I was carrying two
your
baskets.
Your whole veins are just popping out. Just
unbelievable. And like once you commit and it's like you have the conversation on the way and it's like she's like, why don't you just get a cart? And I'm like, no, I got the basket. And then it's like a second basket materializes after
I lose my veins and my feeling in my hands. By the way, you have to be. I ain't no 2-trip bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. When you get home from the grocery store, if you're a man, you take everything on the arms and go.
I have a prototype. I have a prototype to carry grocery bags in. Like I have a thing where it's like you slip them on and you could carry like 40 bags. I never actually made it and put it to patent, but it's anybody. Actually like such a good idea, I think, because people will buy it just for the funny aspect of it. It's like no.
So are you trying to patent this or something?
No, I don't have time.
I think not anymore because he just gave the idea to.
I don't.
Hey, he didn't give the idea. He said he has an idea.
I have a lot of ideas, actually. I've seen
a
few.
Speaking of commercials, you ever see that commercial where it's just like the caveman is like, "Do you have an idea?"
I've seen my ideas like actually being sold years later. I
hated that.
Yeah,
I was at a bar once with my boy, and we're sitting there.
Man pun? Have we had this discussion on the show? I can't really talk.
Not
about
on this show,
right now.
No. But there was
you
one
do
time.
know what a man pun is?
No, I don't.
Oh, Dave,
I'm sorry.
In the comment section, if anybody knows what a man pun is, please fill the people in because I'm not going to talk about it yet.
But no, I was sitting at a bar with my buddy Mark one time, and I'm like, yo, you're a fisherman. Like, obviously, you get the best fish when it's deeper, right? And what if you're on land and you can't cast as far, like you can cast as far as you can cast. I was like, what if you put like the rope, like the hook, on a drone and just send it, right? And then you just drop the hook so far, and that was done already. Some kind of contraption where I was like, but we thought for sure that tomorrow we were going to Shark Tank and becoming millionaires. And when you're drinking, you really get into your feelings and you're like, wow.
So you're talking about like being on land and setting something out to
like,
sea.
obviously, if you cast, you just quick and it just goes for as long as it goes and then it drops. But like the good stuff is all the way deep, right? So like, how can we get the line out all the way in the middle of the ocean?
So
that's how you do it.
On what a man pun is, a tampon for the armpit. No, but I could probably use one at this point.
Oh my God. Wait, so what was the other one? Jesus, what? Grasso came in?
It's definitely dead time in sports when we're talking about grocery shopping.
So the Knicks suck. Anyway, no, this has been another good show.
About, bro, fishing is definitely
fishing is a sport. Don't tell some people that it's not, okay? Because then
supermarket
opens up a whole other can of worms.
Supermarket sweep was kind of like a sporting event. It's definitely more of a sport than half of the fucking Olympics, if we're being real.
That's very true. All right. Well, I think it's time to get out of here. But it's been another great show here on the Chop Sports Daily with Sturch and Gooch. Be sure to subscribe and like this video. Please do us a favor. If you like what we got going on, share it. Tell your friends, okay? Tell your friends that, hey, at 11 o'clock, don't watch Price is Right. Watch us, because now we're talking grocery shopping, and that's Price is Right for material right there. Mm-hmm. So be sure to tell everybody about it. Go to chopsportsmedia.com for the full podcast lineup. We got a new Jimmy Palumbo show today. We got a new All-Star Vintage with Mark Jameson, Dom Morrow, the bad boys of Chop Sports. I'm calling them. That's my dub. They're the outsiders. They're the Hall and Nash of our company. They're in here now. 50 minutes late, but the streak continues. Scoop is in the building. He must have found a car to assess. But Scoop, let's talk later. I might need you to call out of work on Monday so Chris can enjoy a vacation, and I need a co-host. So we'll talk later about that. But of course, thank you guys for watching. For Sturch and Gooch and Dina, this has been another episode of the Chop Sports Daily. Tell your friends. We'll see you tomorrow.
Also, Scoop, I'm going to put the 20 on the seat for Thursday. He comes in on Thursday.
They change it every week, but yeah, Thursday.
Let me know when you're coming in, Scoop.
I'm always down for calling out of work.